From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, I'm Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Monday, May 1st. Not much improvement weather-wise. It's going to be a chilly Tuesday. Some peaks of sunshine, but don't expect a lot. We're going to have some sporadic light showers and sprinkle chances around for the entire day. You might not see anywhere you are. Others might see a little bit more. Highs are going to sneak into the low 50s. Areas to the northeast won't quite make it out of the 40s. Breezy winds out of the northwest will also keep its stance with us, making it feel even colder. The polls are open for the primary election. There are some big races for mayor and ballot questions in many counties. The Marion County Clerk says more than 12,650 people voted early in the primaries. That's more than 4 times as many voters compared to 2019. But election officials say that is still a fraction of registered voters, and they hope a lot more people come out to cast their ballot today. 186 voting locations will be open or are open now in Marion County. You can go to any location wherever is most convenient for you. That includes Gainbridge Fieldhouse and Lucas Oil Stadium. You just need to have your state or federally issued photo ID with you. People who've not returned their vote by mail ballot yet can bring them to any voting location today. Polls are open until 6 tonight. If you are still in line when the polls close, you will be able to cast your ballot. For more information on voting today and those many voting locations, go to our website, wishtv.com, and find the story in the As Seen On section. Now, there is a lot at stake, like setting the stage for several mayoral races, including in Indianapolis. In the Democratic primary, State Representative Robin Shackelford is challenging incumbent Mayor Joe Hogsett. The Republican primary features Jefferson Shreve, Abdul Hakim Shabazz, James Jackson, and John Couch. Other cities and towns like Carmel, Westfield, Bloomington, Fort Wayne, Evansville, and Muncie are also holding primaries for mayoral races. IPS is seeking voters' approval for a $410 million referendum. This would fund upgrades at 23 school buildings. It's part of the Rebuilding Stronger plan. If voters vote yes, this will increase property tax by about $3 a month. It's one of 2 referendums IPS initially wanted on the ballot. The district tabled a $400 million operating referendum in January over criticism of how much funding charter schools would get. Superintendent Dr. Alicia Johnson says the school district knows they're asking the community to make an investment in the kiddos. So here's what voting yes to the capital referendum would mean. New athletic fields, upgraded sidewalks, and improved plumbing, lighting, and fire systems at various schools. It would also cover the cost of a brand new elementary school. Johnson says the approval of the referendum is vital because 25% of the district's facilities have been rated as being not great. With this plan, there will be school closures and some will merge. The schools impacted, Floro Torrance students will go to Robert Lee Frost. George Buck students will go to Ann Brochhausen Elementary. Raymond Brandis students will go to Eleanor Skillen, while Francis Parker and James Russell Low schools will merge. The other schools will be receiving the needed upgrades. The referendum shows that overall enrollment is increasing, and the buildings need to accommodate for that growth. District officials say most of the buildings are more than 60 years old. If the referendum does not pass, the district estimates that it could take around 15 years to bring all of the school facilities to good condition. Johnson says if the referendum does pass, this would create 1,200 jobs through construction projects. A shooting leaves a man critically wounded outside 2 East Side Indianapolis restaurants. IMPD says officers found the wounded man in a grassy area between the McDonald's and Applebee's on Washington Street, just off 465. Police tell our crew it appears to have been a targeted attack rather than a random shooting. Investigators are not releasing the victim's name or if they know who shot him. IMPD is asking for more help solving the deadly shooting of an Arsenal Tech student. Someone shot 15-year-old Derek Houston Jr. at Brentwood Avenue and Breen Drive the morning of April 20th. He died at the hospital. IMPD says detectives do not think Houston was involved in any violent groups. They're hoping someone in the neighborhood knows something. Police haven't announced any arrests yet. More than 250 police officers, Texas Rangers, U.S. Marshals, search dogs, and more are now hunting for a man accused of shooting 5 neighbors to death. They are searching for Francisco Oropesa. Authorities got at least one report of a possible sighting yesterday, but haven't found him. Investigators say Oropesa fired on his neighbors Friday night after they asked him to stop shooting his gun in his yard. One of the victims was 9. A reward fund for his capture is now up to $80,000. The State Bureau of Investigation says a search for 2 missing teenagers resulted in the discovery of 7 bodies. That includes the suspected remains of the teenagers and a convicted sex offender believed to be traveling with them. An agency spokesperson says they found the bodies yesterday on a rural property near the town of Henrietta. Authorities had issued a missing advisory early yesterday for 14-year-old Ivy Webster and 16-year-old Brittany Brewer. Investigators thought they may have been with 39-year-old Jesse McFadden, who was due to go on trial yesterday for sex crimes. Police say the property where the bodies were found belonged to McFadden. Police haven't said how the 3 died or identified the other 4. A team of local healthcare workers is carrying on an effort that dates back 3 decades. For 30 years, the cardiology team with Ascension St. Vincent has provided health care in rural areas of Indiana, improving access to care in places where it's scarce. Ascension says 6 cardiologists work a rotation of regular trips to Linton, Indiana to help about 25 people each week.
The image that people have of the person with an elephant sitting on their chest, the worst pain that they've ever had, that happens during a heart attack. But so many of the symptoms that lead up to that are things that people don't always pay attention to.
That's cardiologist Greg Mazanek. He estimates he's made the 1 hour, 45-minute drive to Greene County 500 times. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame band Aerosmith is bringing its farewell tour to Gainbridge Fieldhouse. The band's set to come to Gainbridge on October 29th as part of their 40-date Peace Out tour. Drummer Joey Kramer will not be on tour, so he can be with his family and focus on health. Tickets for the tour go on sale at 10 Friday morning. We've made it easy for you to get one. Go to wishtv.com and find the story in the As Seen On section of the website. Twitter's old CEO no longer endorses the current leader. Jack Dorsey addressed Musk's ownership of Twitter on Dorsey's new social media platform, Bluesky. Dorsey was asked whether he believes Elon Musk has been the best possible steward of Twitter. Dorsey said no and added that Musk should have walked away from the purchase. Dorsey also faulted the company's board for trying to push Musk to follow through with the deal, despite Musk's attempts to back out. The Biden administration is set to lift the last federal COVID-19 vaccine requirements next week as the national public health emergency comes to an end. The White House says vaccine mandates for federal workers and foreign air travelers will end May 11th. The administration is also phasing out shot requirements for Head Start educators, healthcare workers, and non-citizens at the border. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says the U.S. could default on its debt as soon as June 1st if Congress does not raise or suspend the nation's borrowing limit. Yellen sent a letter to House and Senate leaders yesterday urging them to act as soon as possible. She added it's impossible to predict with certainty the exact date when the U.S. will run out of cash. The White House says President Biden has invited congressional leaders to talk about the debt limit 1 week from today. Montana State Representative Zoe Zephyr is asking a court to allow her to return to the House floor. She filed a lawsuit against the House Speaker and Sergeant-at-Arms yesterday over Zephyr's ban. Republicans voted her out for saying lawmakers would have blood on their hands if they voted to ban gender-affirming care. Zephyr's suit contends she was targeted because she spoke up for the needs of transgender people like herself. The Office of Montana's Attorney General calls the lawsuit frivolous. In Illinois, authorities say at least 6 people are dead and 37 more hurt after a massive crash during a dust storm. The scene was on Interstate 55, northeast of St. Louis. Dozens of drivers collided in the wreck. The aftermath saw a mix of smoke from the crash and dust from the storm. By the police county, more than 70 cars and trucks tangled, and at least 2 of the semis caught fire. State police described the storm as a spring version of a winter whiteout. Happening today, writers are striking, potentially paralyzing production of films and TV shows. The Writers Guild of America says its 11,500 unionized screenwriters are hitting the picket lines today. Negotiations with the film and TV studios failed to end with a new work agreement. One key issue, how to properly compensate writers for work in an era in which their work is now largely sold and consumed over streaming services. Several of the city's signature sites have a new taste of May in Indianapolis. Leaders from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway delivered milk bottles Monday to key attractions around the city and friends of the 500. At the Children's Museum, the drop-off happened in front of the Big Spill, the traveling sculpture aimed at building momentum to the Indy 500, and the traditional swig of milk for the winner. It's now in the main area of the museum. The Big Spill is open for photos with fans all month long. Colts owner Jim Irsay says the team is not ruling out starting rookie quarterback Anthony Richardson in Week 1. The number 4 overall pick is set to hit the field Friday for the first time as a member of the team in rookie minicamp. Irsay says that time will be used to get reps with the team after only starting 13 games at Florida. He says he's excited to see his new quarterback take the field.
Boy, I tell you, you meet a lot of young guys coming up. We've been bringing them in for a long time, since Marvin Harrison, the day after the draft or the night of the draft. And I tell you, he's a special young man. He's up to the task, mature beyond his years. And look it's going to be a process. You can already kind of wonder if he's a starter and we're playing the Patriots. When we play the Patriots this year, how's that going to go, against Belichick? It's tough in this league, But Peyton went through the same thing.
Rookie minicamp runs from Friday to Monday. 2 business headlines now. Investors are waiting for the Federal Reserve meeting, which begins today. Investors expect another 0.25% interest rate hike and then maybe a pause. Fed officials do not expect rate cuts until 2024. Sales of Bud Light have been plunging since the company enlisted the help of transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney in a marketing campaign a month ago. In the week that ended April 22nd, the brand's in-store sales plummeted more than 26%. That's according to figures reported by Bump Williams Consulting. The decline is only accelerating. The week before, sales dropped by 21%. The week before that, it was 11%. Analysts say if Bud Light sales continue to drop, especially into the summer beer drinking season, Bud Light could lose its top sales spot in the U.S. to Modelo Especial. Apple's new savings account opened in mid-April with a 4.15% yield, and it's already drawn 240,000 new accounts. The savings account's annual interest rate is way above most others. The national average rate is just 0.24%, according to Bankrate. Indiana ranks in the middle of states for moms. Wallet Hub survey says Indiana got high marks for its childcare, but lower on professional opportunities and work-life balance. The top 3 states were in New England. And like the candy bar, Kit Kat cereal has a creamy coating and distinct crunch, the company said. The box also shares the look of the candy's distinct red wrapper. It is $5.69 a box and will soon be on store shelves. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.